Year, The Elder Scrolls Online celebrates 10 years. I should have brought some sweet rolls. But here to give us the latest from the franchise, please welcome The Elder Scrolls President Matt Firor and Creative Director Rich Lambert himself. How you doing?
Great.
Yeah.
Great to be here. It's great to be here in the Xbox booth here at Gamescom.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are no strangers to Gamescom in general, so you're aware of the behemoth scale of everything, but I mean, this is something else for the Xbox booth. It's great to have like a whole team together for it, which is awesome. And you guys are on the booth as well, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. But what I want to get into is the fact that it is 10 years. That's really special for a game to go for that long. And you guys thought, well, let's make a big deal out of it. Let's celebrate. So how are we doing that in-game?
Yeah, well, it's been 10 years since we launched, but it's been like 18 years since we founded the studio. So we've been working on this game a long time.
Forever, yeah.
And Rich and I were both here in the very beginning. So, but yeah, we're celebrating. Obviously, we're here at Gamescom. We've done some great community events outside the game. We had a huge one in Amsterdam that you were at.
It was a lot of fun, I got to say.
Oh, yes. Well over 1,000 people. Just a couple weeks ago, we had another big one in Germany.
Yeah, the Tavern.
The Tavern, also huge with live music and just a huge multi-day festival. And then we've done other stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, it's countless, right? We've got new things planned, in the future. We're going to be at TwitchCon, and then also we've got an Australia event coming up too. So.
Yeah, and inside the game, we've had just back-to-back events, just celebrating 10 years. So we're giving lots of free stuff away to players in the game, and it's all a lot themed around different chapters that we've had over the years and different characters and everything. So it's just, we're really trying to do, pull out all the stops and have a great inside the game experience, but then also bring it out to the fans out in the real world.
Well, let's talk about that outside of the game perspective, because you do have pretty substantial little segment
really cool,
over there. Why did it feel right to make sure that you guys were here at Gamescom?
Well, Germany is a huge player base for us. I think it's the second biggest after the United States. So we've been coming over here for many, many years. I mean, it's I think 2013 before launch was our first year here at Gamescom, and we've had community events here longer than we've had community events in America.
Yeah.
Seriously, so Germany is and Europe as a whole is a very, very important, in our hearts and to the success of the game, and we like to come out and thank them in game. But yeah, we got a huge presence in the booth.
It's unbelievable. Like, there's people lined up all around. We've got some cosplayers here. It's just this really amazing feel and vibe. And then, of course, we get to meet the players, hang out with them. Some players, Matt said, we've been here at the Tavern since 2013, and I remember, it started really small and it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and there's people that come every year that we get to see and just see how they're doing.
And it just feels great to see people being jumping so deep into it as well, and it's a huge part of their lives. This is how they've met some of their best friends, that they've spent countless hours in the game just experiencing the incredible tales that you've been able to tell through it. So that it's a really nice way to connect and meet genuine friends here.
Yeah, and it's important here that we've been talking about this for a few minutes now, and we're talking about the community, because the community is the game in many ways. For a game to last for 10 years at this level of success, right? It's just more about the people that play the game at this point than the people that make it. So we never forget that. We very much appreciate it. And we always know when we do have community events and like hands-on and things here at Gamescom, players like to come here to meet each other more than even to meet us. Like their best friends are in the game sometimes, and just to meet them in the real world is awesome.
And we just happen to be here, right? Like, that's the thing, right? Like, so it's really cool.
So 10 years, you've not just been like sitting around letting people enjoy the game. You've been working hard. There have been new content updates. Yep. You've had a new chapter released this same year as well. Do you want to talk a bit about Gold Road and what's there for players to experience with that?
Yeah, Gold Road is the continuation of the story that we started last year with Necron. So it's this story about a new Daedric prince who's been long forgotten, Athelia. She looks different, she acts different than everybody else, and then it's a bit of a nostalgia trip through the West Weald, which was also in Oblivion, Test for Oblivion. So it's been really cool to be able to do that, and then add new systems as well. We added the scribing system, which allows players to essentially build their own abilities. And really kind of mix and match, those abilities with their builds, and then, just change the colors and whatnot to really match their role play.
Yeah,
because that's such an important part for your players. It's not just about being able to get the DPS meter up. It's so much more than that, right?
Yeah, it's like I joke with Rich a lot. We're talking about scribing, but we have a roguelike game. Infinite Archives inside our game, right? We have so many different things you can do in ESO, and in fact, years ago, I think 3 or 4 years ago, we started calling it a virtual world, like a fantasy virtual world, because that's really what it is. It's much more than a game at this point. You can log in and play a card game. Now you can decorate your house and share it with others, and antiquity system and PvP, and right. So there's just so much to do in this game that you can really play all week and do different things every day.
You guys were Metaverse before people even were thinking about Metaverse. I mean, you had them beat. Speaking of housing, you do have a current update available for PC players with the update 43. Console players are going to be able to get hands-on with that pretty soon, but give us a brief overview of what they can expect with that.
So the big new system is home tours, right? It allows players to share their creations with other players, and our housing system is incredible. It's super deep. It is free form, so there's no hook points. There's nothing along those lines. Whatever players can dream up, they can build. They can put chairs on the ceilings. They can cobble together a bunch of things to create new assets. And they do, and they make these really cool creations. And now Home Tours allows them to share that with other people. And those people can go in and view these homes and like them, and like it's really going to open the doors for our community.
Yeah, so to speak. But
that's good. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
The people watching the stream right now, I think, are seeing some housing in game.
Yeah.
And I just want to reiterate, everything they're seeing is in game in our housing system. Like, it could be created by the players.
Yep.
And in fact, some of the ones they're going to get to soon are actually created by players themselves.
Amazing.
And it's unbelievable what they can do with the tools we've given them.
Well, it's a good thing you never asked me, because mine just always looks like some midlife crisis bachelor's pad.
I'm not very good with it either,
there's like monster trophies on the wall, like one chair in the middle of it. It looks really sad, but with this update, I think I'm going to have to try and up my housing chops and make something look good.
Just going through and exploring and seeing what other players are doing is just so inspiring, right? Like, it's amazing.
It's not just the only thing that's getting updated, though, because we mentioned the roguelike part of it as well, Infinite Archives. That's also having a few new flourishes added to it as well, right?
Yeah, so we've added a bunch of new bosses into there, some new monster types. We've added in 2 new arena types, so there's a fire and ice arena in there. We've added new verses and visions, which are the buffs that players earn while they're kind of progressing through. And then, of course, there's tons of new loot, new class sets and whatnot.
Amazing. Community being at the heart of your game. We know that they can also be vocal too, which is a good thing, because that's passionate. I like it. Yeah. And that's the way that we can make great games even greater. So there must be some improvements on the way, some feedback you've had lately that you're looking to include in the game pretty soon.
Yeah, we ship updates to ESO every 12 weeks, and we've been doing that since 2015. So, and every one of those has had a fix, a bug fix, or balance tweaks, or some kind of quality of life fix, based on feedback we've gotten from the community. Nice. And we can't get to everything quite as fast as the community would like us to, I am sure. Yeah. But we were responsive, and we would not be here right now if we didn't take the feedback the community gave us and acted on it. And so things like home tours, right? There's a huge segment of ESO now, of the player base, which really does primarily housing. So we gotten some feedback from the other players in the game, like, why are you doing a housing feature?
I see people say housing is endgame. Like, that is the end goal.
It's fashion and housing, right? Like, that's what you hear a lot. And to Matt's point, sometimes they're not big things. Sometimes they're just small things. Like, one of the, I think, is a big thing that's coming in is probably one of the smallest things. And we now remember the last guild you posted in for the guild stores. So now you can be in 5 guilds in ESO. And what oftentimes would happen is it would reset back to like that first guild that you joined. So you're posting stuff to the guild store in the wrong guild, and so that's just a pain point, and we were finally able to get around to fixing that.
Awesome. I do want to make sure that I give you guys a shout out for possibly one of the most memorable trailers from Showcase, because your 10-year one was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so good. Like, we were all watching it, doing a little mini watch party in the Xbox On studio, and we were like, this is great stuff.
And I think over the years, this is an Elder Scrolls game, right? A lot of the videos we've done are a lot about combat and fighting giant, monsters and huge, demon Daedric princes, right? But that video, the We Belong video, is more about the heart of the game, and that's from what the players experience. That's much more what the game is to them than just going on quests. Because of course we have that, but you're doing it with friends, right? You're doing it with people that you meet in the game, and you're starting out, and you can't do much, and then you get really powerful, right? That's the heart of the game right there in that video.
Amazing. Well, when Update 43 drops on console, I'll make sure to spruce up my home. Maybe you could tour it, see what you think. But thank you. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Gamescom. The Elder Scrolls Online Update 43 is launching September 4th, 2024, so pretty soon. For details on that update, the 10th anniversary plans, and more, make sure that you do tune into the ESO Gamescom live stream, which is kicking off in just over an hour at 6 p.m. CEST, 12 p.m. EDT at twitch.tv/Bethesda.